First thing you'll notice here, it says you'll be assessed on the quality of your written communication. Out of the 7 marks, that'll always be worth 2, no matter how many marks are there. That means there's 5 for the maths. So the 5 for the maths bits are the most important bits to me. Obviously, we can try and get the QWC, but we'll worry about that once we've done the maths. Okay? So it says a water bill is calculated by adding together a fixed charge, a water charge, and a sewage charge. This year, the charges are as follows. It gives us some information there, a fixed charge of 30p per day for the billing period, £1.33 per metre cubed of water used, and for 95% of the cubic metres of water used, there is a sewage charge of £1.66. So I've seen some people highlighting, picking out really, really key bits. Lloyd, I think you were doing that, really impressed with that, it's a good idea. So for me, the 30p, but also the per day of the billing period is going to be really important. Can you see here, we're told that the billing period is 180 days. So the calculation you need to do first is 180 pence times by 30. No, we don't. What's wrong with that? It's the other way around, isn't it? Sorry. It's 30 pence per day multiplied by the 180 days. Okay? Now, if you put that into your calculator, you'll get the answer 5,400. Now, obviously, if that bill came through, I'm hoping you'd be a bit worried, thinking that's an awful lot of money to pay just for a bit of sewage. Any idea why it's so big? It's in pence. That's 30p. So to change that into pounds, what do I do? X and divide it by 100, because 100 pennies go into a pound. So that is equal to £54. Okay? So for me, I'm just going to tick that one off just so I know I've dealt with it. The next one says £1.33 per metre cubed of water used. And I'm told here that I used 60 metres cubed of water. So the calculation I'm going to do next is £1.33 multiplied by 60, because I used 60 metres cubed of water. So putting that into my calculator gave me 79.8, but that's a bit of a weird answer. If I went into a shop and saw that written down, I wouldn't know how much it's for, because money's always to how many decimal places? 2. The common misconception here is people look at that and say, oh, it's £79 and 8 pence. What have I done wrong? Excellent. It is 80. You need to put the 0 after the 8, not before it, okay? So far, I know that I've spent 54 quid on the fixed charge, the 30p per day billing period, and I paid for my 60 metres cubed of water. So I can tick that one off as well. Now the next one says 95% of the number of cubic metres of water used, there is a sewage charge of £1.66 per metre cubed. So the next thing I'm going to do is work out 95% of the number of cubic metres of water used. And I've already been told that that's 60 metres cubed of water has been used. I love the way Andrew wrote it out, where he said 95% is 95, the percent means out of 100, and then you multiply it by 60 because that's how much water I used. Okay? So that comes to 57. Okay? And that would be pounds as well, because it was, no, it's not pounds at all. What is that 57? So then, metres cubed, well done, because it says that you get charged for 95% of the 95% of the number of cubic metres of water used, and that's what I've worked out, 95% of the 60 metres cubed. It's that 57 that I'm now going to multiply by the £1.66. So when I put that into my calculator, I get £94 and 62 pence. So in terms of the total bill, it's going to be 54 quid, £79.80, and the £94.62. So all I'm doing now is adding those things together. So 54, add the 79.80, add the 94.62, to get a total of £228.42. Miss Cowdy, it looks like you certainly want to say something.
I do.
Go on.
You just dropped on your QWC mark.
Well, that's the point that I was making before. I've done 5 of my maths marks. I haven't touched the QWC. At the moment, I give that 0. Well, it might just about get 1 QWC for having clear maths working, although it's not the best, is it? I need to start thinking about how I'm going to start getting those QWC marks. When we're talking QWC, you do not need to write an essay. You don't need to write a really massive paragraph explaining all this.
If you write an essay, you're more likely to
I thought
lose
your quality
marks
of
for it.
written communication was essence.
Say again, Will?
I thought your quality of written
It is, and I certainly haven't used any of those marks yet. So what I'm going to do now is go back and actually write what things are for. Okay, so this 30p times 180-day billing period, I would say that is the cost of the 180-day billing period. What is this £79.80? Well, that came from 133 times 60, and that came from 60 metres cubed of water. So I'm going to write that by here so I've got more space. Why have I done this calculation here, the 95 over 100? Good. To find 95% of the number of cubic meters. Why have I times that by 1.66?
Sewage charge.
Excellent. Sewage charge.
Can I point something out of that point that I just PwC question? You're not supposed to do this as one line, because if you look at this, it doesn't make sense mathematically. You've got to think about that as well as the verbal bit. That side says you're finding 95% of 60. That says you're doing 57 times 166. It should have been 2 separate calculations. So you should have done 95% of 60 is 57, and then as a separate calculation, you should have done 57 times 1.66. Okay.
Reluctantly,
That's why I was
I
laughing
do
at that.
agree with Miss. If I saw that actually now in hindsight, I'd be annoyed.
I was very annoyed. That's why
Okay.
I was laughing. Okay, so it should have been 2 separate calculations, which most of you have done. To be fair.
The units inside.
Don't worry, it's just me who's messed it up.
It's just saying that's the volume.
Okay? And then finally, by here, this was to find the total. Now, the thing that I taught my classes for a couple of years was we need to then write this all into a massive essay and saying what we're doing. We don't need to do that. The feedback from the exam board is absolutely fine to just be annotating by your work what you did. Now, admittedly, my work isn't the neatest in the world. When you have the pressure putting yourself on camera at about 3 seconds notice, and sometimes you stress yourself out. But, as I said, it is similar to the pressure you have. And some of the things that I'll try and do is actually look at questions. I've not seen this question ever before. I'm going to try and put myself in that position so I can show you how I deal with it in your position as well. Okay?
Remember as well, people marking these tests, they're maths teachers, so